The Lionesses begin their UEFA Women's Euro 2025 campaign tonight against France in St Etienne. Sarina Wiegman's side look to defend the title. They famously won at Wembley 3 years ago. Absolute scenes there. Now it's a tough opener for England. France are ranked third in the world and have beaten the Lionesses in 3 of their last 4 meetings. Now Lionesses Leah Williamson has told talkSPORT that they're fully aware of the threats this talented France side have ahead of their Euros opener.
Their physicality is obviously one of their main strengths. They're a very athletic team, a lot of pace, so naturally we have to be on it and we have to be sort of one step ahead in that regard. But I think we've focused as much on them as we have ourselves, and I think us playing good football will be a great way to nullify that threat.
Yeah, for more on this, delighted to say we're joined now by England's most capped women's player of all time, Fara Williams, and England and Brighton forward Nikita Parris. Good morning, how are we?
Hiya.
Morning. Cold. The sun hasn't come up.
I was going to say, we're in the talkSPORT bunker here. We don't know what the weather's like. There's no windows, there's no aircon, nothing. It looks absolutely grim out there.
I know, look at the hair. The wind's blowing it everywhere this morning. I did brush it before I come on, I can assure you.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, look, Farah, as defending champions in this group of death against a side that the Lionesses have had a difficult run with against France, how important is it for Sarina Wiegman's girls to sort of lay down a marker in this opening game?
Yeah, I think when you go to any tournament, the opening game is the one that you certainly go into not wanting to lose, most importantly. I think the fact that their last game against France, they actually beat them away in France. They haven't done that, I don't think in the history of the women's game in terms of England and France fixtures. So they know they can beat them. Their last fixture against them, they actually won. So they can get lots of confidence from that going into this tournament. And they've got a fantastic squad of players. I know there was a lot of talk about the players that are absent from the squad, but I think we look at the players that are there now, and they're a more than capable group, very talented group, and we're just rearing up here with excitement with the girls behind at this football event that we're at today. The big football day powered by the National Lottery. So these girls are excited. We're excited for the game. Getting this out of the way this morning so that we can be ready for the 8 o'clock kickoff tonight.
Nikita, I've got to ask you, because you've obviously been in a dressing room with Sarina Wiegman. Tell us about that experience of, the layout of preparing for a game, because this French game as an opening game is a real tough one.
Yeah, it's definitely a tougher game to start your tournament, and everyone wants to get the tournament off to a win. So, the girls will be feeling a little bit of nerves, but ultimately they are the defending champions. So, they'll have a lot of confidence from that. And being in the dressing room, Sarina's won the last 3 Euros, so that gives a lot of confidence in the winning mentality that she has, and it brings that will, filter through the group.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for this one. I mean, Lee Carsey did it with the under-21s. Sarina can do it with the Lionesses. Back-to-back Euros champions, that's what we're looking for. Now, Farah, you've just mentioned there you're at an event for the National Lottery promoting the women's game. You've spoken before about your own journey in the grassroots game, how vital clubs like AFC Leighton are in giving girls a space to dream big. It's really important stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, these events today are massively important for opportunities for young girls. I think, when you think back to your grassroots day, it was about, taking part, meeting new people, having that community, having fun, and that carefree. And I think that's what these type of events provide for young girls, an opportunity. We know now that football is becoming more and more expensive for young people to participate in. And so to have these events funded by the National Lottery and the amount of investment they've had in grassroots sports, so not just football, but 6 billion money has been spent by the National Lottery in grassroots sports. So it gives these girls an opportunity here to have this experience today.
Yeah, it's really weird. I'm going a bit off track here, but my son lives in Singapore, and he was saying to me, there's been a massive drive in Singapore football for women's game, and so many girls are getting involved in.
Love it.
That and this isn't just in the UK. This is being driven all over Europe and the rest of the world, which is fantastic for the game.
Yeah, massively, and I think that helped from the win in 22 when we won the Euros. It really generated a lot of attention on the game, and it created more opportunities through the National Lottery helping fund these grassroots sports. And plenty of girls across the country can be excited at also this Euros with the big football day that it's providing opportunity for young girls to come and play football throughout the Euros and, emulate the celebrations of, their favourite players.
Yeah. I've got to ask you, girls, because I get asked this question a lot, and I know Delphine Cascarino, who plays for France, gets asked this question, am I her dad? And I'm not her dad.
Lost love child.
Well, I've got a 28-year-old daughter, and Delphine's 28, and she's also got a sister that plays as well. And it's just really ironic that the England women's team are playing France women's team. So I've always had this interest in this Delphine Cascarino as a player. I was a bit of a lump down the middle, down centre-board. I'm told she's nothing like me. And will she be playing today?
She definitely doesn't emulate you. I've seen you play. I've seen you play, Tony. I'm one of the older ones, so I've definitely seen you play today. You're short at Chelsea, but yeah, I mean they're two fantastic players. To have two siblings, equally as good as each other, representing, the French team. There'll certainly be ones to watch in this French team tonight.
Yeah. Nikita, back to the issue away from Caster's long lost girl. Who, by the way, that's on her Wikipedia page. To clarify, it's not Tony Cascarino's daughter. But back to the issue at hand, Nikita. This is something that's really important to me. So before I was a broadcaster, I was a teacher, head of year, deputy head at secondary school, Glenmore and Winton in Bournemouth. Fantastic state school, and the PE department there do absolutely incredible work engaging young girls in sports. They've got county champions left, right and centre in every sport you can imagine. Sarah Bowen, by the way, head of the department there, shout out, absolute legend. Nikita, sort of how being there today with loads of young girls getting into the game, playing football, how does it remind you of your early days in the game? And can you see a change in sort of the enthusiasm or the numbers of girls that are getting involved in sport?
Yeah, definitely. The number of girls participating in football since 22 has grown astronomically. And I think, the unbelievable story that I have a niece who's 10 years old, and I went to a tournament and she said, can you come watch me? I said, yeah, no problem. I thought it was just going to be a grass field, probably 4 teams competing against each other. I got there was hundreds of girls, like 50 different teams. I couldn't believe it. It was all girls teams. I said, how lucky you are to be participating against girls. Anytime there was a tournament when I was younger, it was mostly boys and maybe 2 or 3 girls teams. And I'm so lucky to be able to have gone through the journey of grassroots to elite sport. And I was part of a task scheme sponsored by the National Lottery that helped me with that funding to be able to, become the elite player I am today.
Nikita, I've got to say, while you've been talking, there is a girl behind you on your right shoulder, a blonde girl who's been juggling the ball and flicking it up, keeping it on her head. And
it was all for the show, Cass. Come on. I have to entertain.
She's brilliant. I'm watching behind you.
She's a plant. Get in there, do colour around the world.
So what Nikita's not telling you is that this same girl that was doing the keep-up actually challenged Nikita to a keep-up competition, and Nikita ran a mile. So yeah,
I had to get some water. I was dehydrated.
Brilliant
great
stuff. Look, lastly, Fara, for so many girls, clubs like this are the first step. Like it's the entry point into, Nikita just been describing her pathway from grassroots to elite sport. What do you think that the game needs to keep growing and to keep thriving?
Yeah, I just said that to some of the girls then. They asked me, what is it about football? And I just said to them, you just mentioned your first entry into the game. Well, one, it's got to be accessible and also affordable for some of these under-deprived areas. The game is becoming less affordable for them to participate. But it's about creating an environment where these girls want to come back. And if you make it, fun and as I said, they're enjoyable, then the girls will keep coming back and they'll keep telling their friends in school, and then we'll keep getting, more and more girls starting from a younger age. And then obviously, that love will certainly transform into, wanting to become maybe an elite player, but certainly continue to play the game. And think of mental health and well-being. It will keep these young girls, fit and well for longer.
Absolutely. Brilliant stuff. Nikita, Fara, it's been absolutely great to chat to you. Hopefully the weather improves. And Nikita, if you don't challenge that girl behind you to that keep you up in competition, you're going down in my estimation. Give her the chance.
I've already done about 50 sitting here, so don't watch that.
She already missed a couple of penalties as well. No goalkeeper.
Don't listen to her.
I love it. You need to
Don't try to bring me down, guys. Don't listen to her.
You need to sign her up at Brighton, Nikita. that young girl.
I speak to Mr. Bloom.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us. Fantastic
Cheers,
stuff
bye-bye.
there. That is Fara Williams and England and Brighton forward Nikita Parris. Brilliant stuff.
Honestly, the girl
No, I
behind
could
the kid's
see.
show, she was like, I was looking, thinking, what is she doing? She's literally flicking her up on her head and, and all sorts of tricks and skills. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff. Just a reminder, of course, that live on talkSPORT this evening, the main event, France versus England in that Women's Euros 2025 opener, presented by Adrian Durham. Commentary from Joe Shannon and former England striker Tash Dowie. Cannot wait for that one. Next